All right, welcome. I'm Mr. Reardon, and I'm talking about our J term class. And really, it's going to be what in the heck is APBA? Because we're going to be playing, which going back to my childhood, is one of the greatest board games in the history of man that I've ever played. And I hope that you get the same excitement and experience and even the challenge of playing a very unusual game around baseball. All right. So I'm just going to give you an introduction on kind of what this looks like, what we're going to be doing, and that kind of thing. First of all, the basics. This is a picture of a kind of an enhanced APBA baseball field. And you see a couple team envelopes there and some cards and some dice. Notice how the dice are both double sixes. That's like the best roll you can get. If you roll double sixes in APBA, you may quite possibly your player might hit a home run. All right. So here are the basics. It is a dice activated board game. In this era of computerized games, I think this is refreshing. I think it's different. And like I said, it's challenging, but you will be playing baseball games against other students, teams, and we're gonna have like a rotational like season, if you like, of several games. We'll see how many we get in, and then at the end we'll play a World Series, match the top two teams against each other, and have at it. But the cool thing about APBA is the cards that the dice rolls correspond with are highly statistically accurate. The guy that invented the game, J. Richard Seitz, back in the 1950s, was a math whiz who determined a method of creating these baseball cards, if you like, that are very accurate. And so the players will perform very close to how they did in real life. It does involve some baseball strategy. So you may need to determine it's time to bring in a relief pitcher. I need to pinch hit for somebody. I need to play it safe and not try to stretch a base and not get my runners thrown out. Defensively, I need to bring my infield in to cut the runner off at the plate if there's a runner on third. Now, if you're not like just super like into baseball or you don't understand baseball that well, you'll catch on pretty quick on what works and what not it doesn't. And also, there's a thing called hit and run where you can send a runner and try to hit the ball behind them. That's another strategy you can employ. You can do an intentional walk if some big slugger comes up and you don't want him to ruin the game by hitting a grand slam. So there's all kinds of strategy around the game that each player will employ while they're playing each other. My brother a couple weeks ago said, hey, Scott, tell the kids this is a very cerebral game. It is a brain challenge. It's going to take a while for you to really get a feel for how to play the game, how it works, results boards, strategy, things like that. So just start. We're going to try to start out very simple and work from there. But you will find great excitement, I think, in playing these games against each other. But again, it will be a challenging game to learn. Kind of like the first time, if you ever played like Settlers of Catan. My daughter threw that out and I was like, oh my goodness, this is so hard to figure out. APBA will take a while to figure out how to play, but once you do, you'll be able to play some games, a regular 9 inning baseball game, fairly quickly. Maybe once you get good at it, you could play a 9 inning game in 30 minutes. All right. Now, the teams. What do the teams look like? How's that all set up? You'll notice here I have some screenshots of some pitchers and excuse me, pitchers and batters and famous players, Oral Hershiser, Don Mattingly, some players primarily from the 80s you might have heard of. So every player for a team has a card. They have a results card. So you're going to roll the dice, get a corresponding number on the player card, and then look that up in a results board. All right. Again, it's very statistically accurate. You will have an opportunity to select from 40 of the best teams of all times. Each team will have 25 players to select from, a battery of pitchers, a battery of regular starters, and some substitutes. And so you're going to be having to be able to manage this team of players against your opponent. Again, each player will have a results card. And you're going to select the lineup based on who your pitchers are available, what your players are. You will have a selected roster if you're like, I'm not really sure who to select. I don't really know how this works. You have a suggested roster. You can also use a designated hitter. So instead of having the pitcher bat, which actually I'm going to not allow pitchers to bat, you can select a batter to bat for the pitcher in some sort of a designated hitter role. All right. Again, if you don't understand baseball rules, we will help you. And I would expect your opponent too, if you're not like really up on baseball, your opponent to kind of help you too, kind of get your feel for baseball and strategy and selecting a lineup. You will then play a head to head series. I'm hoping we can get in like 3 games for every series that we play against somebody else in the league. All right. So you're going to select. We're going to have a draft. You're going to have an opportunity to select the best teams from the past. They will be very close in ability. So if you end up like with a lower pick than somebody that gets like the number 1 pick, you still will have a very good team that should be very competitive. So don't get freaked out like I got the last spot to pick. You'll be fine. Again, we're going to play head-to-head series each day, hopefully getting several games in against our opponent. What does the quote-unquote season look like? Well, like I said, we're going to have a daily series against an opponent, and we'll keep track in the standings of how the teams are doing. The top 2 teams on the very last day will play in a World Series. And that'll be like the final culmination, like, here we go, this is the World Series. I think we should have like a best out of 7, or maybe at least best out of 5. We can get by that time you should be able to play games in 30 minutes. They'll call it maybe a best out of 5 series, and that'll be our World Series final. All right. Now, this is an academic class. It's J-term, and you are earning credit for this class. How will grading work? All right. Well, it's very important. 50% of the grade's going to be, are you here every day? Because if you're not here every day, your opponent doesn't have anybody to play against, and it kind of makes things kind of challenging. So I'm really hoping that every day you can come to play in the game. I'm even supposing that if you're sick, that possibly you might still be able to participate if we can zoom you in and have you play against your opponent. All right. So if that's daily participation, it'd be half your grade. And again, we only have 9 days that we're doing this for. Your assignments are going to look like this. I'm going to start out with just a brief written assignment. I want you to do a brief amount of research on this team that you've drafted, getting a better understanding. For example, if I got the 1927 New York Yankees, I need to learn a few things about my team. Who are their best players? Were any of them the most valuable player? Won the Cy Young Award as being the best pitcher? Was there a batting champion? Did they win the World Series? Just getting to know who your team was. Brief written assignment. Then I've planned about 2 to 3 math assignments, which are related to baseball statistics. Things like what I call extrapolation, statistical analysis, a variety of things that I will walk you through. Probability is a big one with this game because you're doing a dice roll with a player card, so figuring probability. We're going to have 2 or 3 fairly brief math assignments and statistics to get an appreciation for baseball statistics. All right. Now, I'm not requiring you to keep statistics every game. You'll keep a very summarized version of each game and turn that in so I can record the standings. But what I do want you to come away with from the class is one final assignment will be you must keep score for 1 game on a score pad. Now, what I mean is that's the formalized, you should be able to understand, like if the baseball team needed a scorekeeper in the spring, you should have a basic understanding of the various numbers of positions and how to score a baseball game on a score pad. All right. This is something that I really enjoy doing when I go to like a Walla Walla Sweets game. I have to have a score sheet in front of me and keep score while the game is going on. And it really connects me with what's happening. All right. Finally, questions. If you have any questions, drop me a line in Google Hangouts. I'm going to send you an invite in Google Hangouts in addition to an invite to the course in Google Classroom. But Google Hangouts is a great way to get a hold of me. And if you just want to kind of curious and just want to come by, excuse me, and just kind of take a look at things, I welcome that. All right. So brief summary of the class, and I hope to see you on Monday, January 10th, for the beginning of our APBA Baseball League. Have a great day.